George Soros' son has given his first interview since taking over his father's $25 billion empire. The younger Alex Soros claims, quote, "I'm more political than my father," adding, "as much as I would love to get money out of politics, as long as the other side is doing it, we're going to have to do it too." Our next guest wrote a book all about George Soros, calling him the most dangerous man in America, and warns the apple doesn't fall far from the money tree. Author Matt Palumbo is joining us right now. Matt, good morning to you.
Morning.
Okay, so for his son to say, "I'm more political," when comparing himself to his father, what does that mean we're going to see as he takes over the empire?
Well, I was going to say, I didn't even know that was possible. To my knowledge, by total spending, George Soros has spent more in our politics and abroad than any person in history. So if you are someone who considers that man apolitical, it probably tells you something about yourself. As for, what's going to change with his son having this $25 billion war chest, well, I would say the baseline is going to be the same. There are no policies of his father that he opposes, so it really just becomes a question of, well, what comes on top of everything, on top of the DA craziness or the interference in our elections. And, he cited, a few things like voting rights and abortion as two of his key issues. And,
right.
As we know, voting rights is sort of just a key for weakening the voting system to help Democrats. So a lot more of the same. And one thing I'll say to keep in mind about Alex is he may not have the, Emperor Palpatine look that his father has, but he is arguably going to be more dangerous. And the fact that he does not have the sort of shadowy image is not a reason not to fear the guy.
And Matt, when you look at the amount of money, and we've got a graphic that shows that George Soros spent about $128 million between 21 and 22. Sam Bankman-Fried, who's in big trouble, and Michael Bloomberg way behind him. So there's a gigantic wad of cash at the disposal. So you got to wonder if they're going to continue on the track they've been, or if they're going to do something new. One thing he said, actually two things he said that I think are really interesting to Wall Street Journal. He said he believes free speech on campus has become too restricted. I think we'd agree with that. And he also said our side has to be better about being more patriotic and inclusive. Just because someone votes Trump doesn't mean they're lost or racist. That sounds good.
Yeah, but, I remember seeing that, too. And you have to keep in mind, the guy is smart enough to understand optics, and that this was the Wall Street Journal where, the average reader is center right. So I think he may have been sort of playing to that audience a little bit. But I will say, listen, if he legitimately does believe that, I do think those are two redeeming qualities. But until he starts spending hundreds of millions of dollars or billions as he has or his father has on destroying the country on those two positive things, I'm not really going to buy it.
All right. Let's see what happens as he takes over the empire. Matt, thank you very much for joining us on this Monday. I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.